Bamf. Hey everyone, Dave here.
And I'm Dirk.
Welcome to 2D Board Gamers. And today we're going to do a Nightcrawler hero review. We both had a chance to play a few Nightcrawler decks, and so we're ready to go over Nightcrawler's abilities. So first, let's look at his kit cards. His alter ego is Kurt Wagner. He's a 3 recovery. He's a mutant, hand size 6, hit points 9. As an action, you can search your deck for a copy of BAMF and add it to your hand. Limit once per round.
All right. Okay, and then on his hero side, Nightcrawler, he is a 2 thwart, 1 attack, 3 defense. And we'll get to the defense here in a little bit because that's a big special thing about him. But he is an X-Men and he has a rapid teleportation, which is an action. As an action, you can spend 1 resource of any type and you can return a copy of BAMF from your discard pile to your hand, limit once per phase. So on his alter ego side, he can add 1 from his deck. And on his hero side, he can do it from his discard pile. So, as long as he's got the resources.
Okay. So his signature ally is Day Tripper. She's got a 2 thwart, 2 attack, 2 hit points. She's a mystic. After Day Tripper enters play, search your deck and discard pile for a copy of BAMF and attach it to an enemy. Then deal 1 damage to each enemy with a copy of BAMF attached.
Yep. And the biggest thing about Day Tripper that I really wish, and I know thematically, yeah, she's a mystic, but I really, really, really wish she would have been an X-Men because he works so well with X-Men themed decks, and that kind of breaks the theme a little bit. But
Yeah.
still, I like her.
I mean, I can't remember from the comics, but I don't even think she's a mutant. I think she is the daughter of the circus people that raised him.
Yeah.
I can't remember. All right.
All right, so then we've got his signature support, Kurt's Chapel. It is a location. He gets +1 recovery when this is out in play, and as an alter ego response, after you make a basic recovery, you can exhaust Kurt's Chapel and choose a player, any player, and that player gets to draw a card. So if you need the card, you can use it yourself, but if you don't, you can give it to somebody else, which I have done.
All right. Then we have Kurt's Cutlass. This counts as 2 restricted cards. It's a weapon. Nightcrawler gets +1 attack, +1 defense, and gains retaliate 1. Now you're going to see some cards that deal with weapons when we get to some aspect cards. The nice thing is it doesn't matter if this is exhausted or not. It still gives you the +1 attack, +1 defense, and the retaliate.
Yeah, but that 2 restricted, that is important. So if you want to
Yeah.
use another restricted item, you have to have some way to add a 3rd restricted slot.
Yeah, like a sight holster or something.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, then we've got his prehensile tail, which is a 1-cost upgrade. It is a superpower. Not sure how a tail is a superpower, but it's a superpower. And then you can control 1 additional upgrade that has the restricted keyword. So you already get 1 there. So you can, I guess you can do 1 with this out. But you can, as a resource action, you can exhaust the tail to generate a wild resource for an event. Now it can be for any event and not just for one of his signature events, which is a little bit different than a lot of the signature resources.
All right. And then this is like the key cards to his kit. He's got 3 copies of BAMF.
Yeah.
Attached to an enemy, max 1 per enemy. Hero Interrupt Defense. When attached enemy attacks, discard this card. Declare Nightcrawler as the defender without exhausting him. And also importantly is if you're already exhausted and you have a BAMF on the enemy, you still can defend. This is in addition to your normal exhausting to defend. So pretty nice.
And I had originally thought that 3 of these, that I was like, well, why doesn't he have more of them? Because 3 just doesn't seem like that's enough. But you've got enough ways to get it back that as long as you're a little bit careful about how you place it, you can. I mean, you don't have to be like overly cautious, but just not just the first guy out there throw it down on, but 3 tends to be enough, or at least in our playthroughs, 3 tended to be enough most of the time. All right, so he's got 2 copies of Port and Punch here. It's a 2-cost event. It's an attack superpower, and as a hero action, you can deal 3 damage to an enemy, and then deal 3 damage to each enemy with the BAMF attached. So if you can either, This way you're doing 3 across the board, but with everything that's got Bamf. But the one that is hit by this attack does not have to have a Bamf attached to it. If it does, it'll take 6 damage though.
All right. Then we have some uses of BAMF in addition to being able to defend, and here's one of them. Teleport drop is a 2-cost event. Attack superpower. Attack, discard a copy of BAMF from an enemy. Deal 8 damage to that enemy and stun it.
And the little cool trick here is you can do that, and then as long as you got a resource, you can turn around and get that Bamf back and use it again.
Yep.
So pretty nice. Then we've got 2 copies of Scout Ahead here. It is a 1-cost superpower or 1-cost event. It's a thwart superpower. As a hero action, you can remove 3 threat from a scheme, and then you can discard a copy of BAMF from your hand. So the last one was from an enemy. This one has to be from your hand to remove 3 threat from another scheme. So you can remove threat from 2 schemes. So it's kind of like an upgraded multitasking.
Yep.
Multitasking, kind of like an upgraded multitasking, but it does have the restriction that you've got to discard a BAMF to do it.
Okay, then we have Port Away. It's a 0-cost event. It's a superpower. Discard a copy of BAMF from your hand to change forms and ready your identity.
Right, then we've got 2 copies of Tally Ho here. It is a 1-cost event. It is a defense superpower. As a hero response after BAMF makes Nightcrawler the defender of an attack, you can return that copy of BAMF to your hand and deal 3 damage to the attacking enemy. So it is a response. So his attack will happen first, but then you basically are doing 3 damage and you get your BAMF back so that you can turn around and use it again. So.
Okay, and then I kind of thought of 2 strong deck types. One's an aggression, which would be all about fighting enemies with an attachment or weapons kind of combined. So the first card I got here is Fusillade. It's a 2-cost event. Attack, hero action, exhaust a weapon, so you can exhaust a cutlass. Upgrade, you control, deal 5 damage to an enemy. And again, with the cutlass, it does not matter if it's exhausted or not to get the ability that it does.
Yep.
We're gonna leave the cutlass out for.
Yeah, because it's gonna matter on several of these.
Yeah, coming up. Well, actually, we don't need the cutlass for this. We need the BAMF for this one. So.
All right, so this one, it's a surprise move, so it's a 1-cost event, a tactic, but you can use this whenever you make a basic attack against enemy with an upgrade attached. So as long as it's the enemy is basic attack against the enemy with BAMF on it, then you get +2 for the attack, and if it defeats the enemy, then you get to ready your hero. So it's an additional way to ready yourself up.
Leave the BAMF.
Leave the BAMF. Okay.
All right. Then we've got Take That. It's a 3-cost event. It's an attack. Hero action, deal 7 damage to an enemy with an upgrade attached.
And so the sweet thing about this, if you happen to be playing a home technique, that's 10 damage to the enemy with the BAMF attached. Yeah.
Yep. All right, and then he's going to have a high defense even as an aggression. So this is a pretty good card. Toe to toe, 1-cost event. Choose an enemy. That enemy attacks you. You could easily get up to 5 defense and or the defense of the villain, and maybe take no damage, and then deal 5 damage to that enemy.
Yeah, I think we figured it out. I think you can actually get up. I think we figured out a way to get up to 6, but it takes a lot of setup. Yeah. And that's outside of protection. With protection, I got it up to 7. But here we've got a Mean Swing. It's a 0-cost event. This is an old standard here, but as an interrupt when your hero makes a basic attack, exhaust a weapon. So here, again, this is with the cutlass, which the cutlass is somewhere around here. Yeah, with the cutlass. You throw that cutlass down there, you exhaust the cutlass, and then your hero gets +3 for the attack.
Okay. And then the other deck idea that I thought of was perfect defense for protection.
And this is where he shines.
Yeah, and we got a lot of cards. But Polaris, I thought she'd be a good ally. She's a 3, cost 3, 1 thwart, 2 attack, 3 hit points. She's an X-Men. After Polaris enters play, give an X-Men character a tough status card. So, especially if you're multiplayer, and you want Nightcrawler to defend for the entire table, this, gives him a tough, so he has another way of taking another hit.
Yeah, and so, since she is an X-Men, but she works good for any X-Men, but it's just she fits really well into the perfect defense strategy for him. Then again, also a classic perfect defense card here is the Desperate Defense. So it's a one cost event. Then your hero can, when your hero defends against an attack, he gets +2 defense for the attack. And if you don't take any damage, then you can ready your hero. So that's a way to block for multiple people.
Yep. Okay. And then continuing on, expert defense. It is a zero cost event. Defense, hero interrupt, defense. When your hero defends against an attack, it gets +3 defense to that attack. So, you go up, if you're not quite fully set up, or you're going up against a villain that hits really hard. Sometimes even a 6 or 7 defense may not be enough. Well,
Yep.
then these cards will help with
Yeah,
that.
you can get it up at double digits with that one. Now here we've got Never Back Down. Again, this is another old classic here. It's a one-cost event, a defense event that whenever you defend, you get a +2 for the defense, and if you don't take any damage, you get to stun the attacking enemy. So a lot of the newer enemies do have steady, so it does take a little bit extra there, but still, it's a great one for a lot of the enemies out there. And even with steady, you do that a couple of times, and you still get them stunned. So.
Right. And then, of course, there's a lot of those take no damage. So this is another one, one cost event, not today. Hero interrupt defense. When your hero defends against an attack, it gets +2 defense for this attack. If you take no damage from the attack, remove 2 threat from a scheme.
So this one's great if you're playing solo, because then you actually have a little bit more control of the threat with that one. Here we've got Powerful Punch. It's a 2-cost event. With this one, that whenever an enemy initiates an attack, you deal 4 damage to that enemy. And you're going to try to, you're probably going to either be trying to provoke attacks, or just a good way, especially solo, if you're playing something other than, if you're playing protection, it's a good way to fight back there.
All right. And then if we have some really annoying treachery or boost effects, this is a good one.
Boost effects are annoying.
So this is a preemptive strike, one cost event. When a boost card is turned face up while the villain attacks, cancel all boost icons on that card. Oh, so it's the boost icons, not the effects. But then deal 1 damage to the villain for each boost icon canceled this way.
Yep.
So, there are some that have 4 boost icons on them. So
yeah, I know. Those thrill me, I'm telling you. Here we've got Riposte. It's a one-cost event that whenever your hero defends, you get +2 for the defense, and if you take no damage, then you deal 3 damage to the attacking enemy. So basically, you say, well, you're not touching me, but whatever you say, I'm rubber, you're glue. There we go.
All right, then we have Subdue. One cost event. When an enemy initiates an attack, the enemy gets -3 to the attack for that attack.
Subdue. See, that's what you try to do to me. You try to subdue me. That's what it is.
What do you mean try?
You can't keep my mouth down. I got a big mouth. Taunt. Taunt's a one-cost event. It's a tactic. So this one is when the villain attacks you, other characters cannot defend against that attack, but you get to draw 3 cards. So I love card advantage. This is a great card. In fact, I had actually forgotten about. I'm going to have to actually start using this one more.
That's the protection version of one way or another.
I know. I forgot about this one even existed.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Okay.
I got to do toys.
So we got Armored Vest as a one cost upgrade. Play under any player's control. Max 1 per. It gives you another defense, which
Yep, this part of how we get it up to 6 or 7. Here we got Change of Fortune. So this one, you are limited to 1 per player, but it can be played under any player's control. But after you defeat an enemy during the villain phase, you can exhaust the card and draw 2 cards. And if you're using several of these cards that allow you to bounce damage back to the enemy, if you don't get damage, there you go. It's a good card if you're using that strategy.
Yeah, especially take out like kind of an annoying minion. Okay, then we got Containment Strategy, 1 cost upgrade. It's a tactic attached to a non-permanent side scheme, max 1 per side scheme. After a hero defends against an attack, remove 1 threat from the attached scheme. 2 threat instead if that hero takes no damage. And of course, with a perfect defense, you're taking no damage. This is a good way to thwart, especially if you're playing solo or you don't have a Justice player. That's a way to deal with all the side scheme threat removal.
Of course, here we've got Dauntless. It's a 1 cost upgrade. It is a condition, max 1 per player, but you can play it under anybody's control. But this one is as long as your remaining hit points are equal to or greater than your starting hit points, then you gain Retaliate. So you're often going to be at least equal, and you've got ways to boost yourself above. So even if you do take a point or 2, you'll still be up there. But if you're all set up, your perfect defense for most villains is going to do a pretty good job of drawing you cards with that one. I mean, giving you retaliate with that one.
All right, then we have defensive stance. It's a 2-cost upgrade, max 1 per player. When you would take any amount of damage, discard defense stance to prevent 3 of that damage. So, that's against a big alpha strike.
Here we got the electrostatic armor. It's a 1-cost upgrade. It's armor tech. And again, player need player's control, maximum per player. But then after you defend against an attack, you deal 1 damage to the attacking character. So it's not quite the same as, oh, shoot. Retaliate. It's not quite the same as retaliate, but if you've got the dauntless and you've got your cutlass out and this, you're doing basically 3 retaliate is what you're doing basically.
All right, so then we got energy barrier. So this is to help you take no damage. When you would take any amount of damage, remove 1 reflection counter from here, prevent 1 of that damage, and deal 1 damage to an enemy. So that's a good way to make sure you're taking no damage.
Here we've got flow like water. It's another way to actually help make sure that you don't take damage. So after you play a defense card, 1 damage, you deal 1 damage. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this one deals damage to the enemy. I'm sorry. You play a defense card, you deal 1 damage to the enemy with this one. It's 2-cost upgrade.
To the attacking enemy.
To the attacking enemy, yeah.
All right, so this is if you're defending for a big multiplayer team, maybe. Otherwise, this kind of prevents the BAMP from working a little bit. It's like when you would take any amount of damage, remove that many energy counters from here. For each energy counter, it prevents 1 of that damage. So it is if it exceeds everything you've done, you have a way to still take no damage.
Here we got hard to ignore. This one's one works great if you're a solo player, but even with in games where you've got a high thwart or you don't have a justice player, is a really good one because you're perfect defense, you're taking no damage, or that's the intent. With this one, anytime you defend against an attack and take no damage, you can exhaust this to remove 1 threat from the main scheme.
Or you can make sure that the justice player has nothing to do. Because they're like, I got all these cards and I can't play them. It's like, yep, well.
I've never said that.
No, but we know someone who has.
All right, so now here we've got Indomitable. It's a 1-cost upgrade condition. After your hero defends, you can discard Indomitable and ready yourself. So that's always a good way to ready yourself and get extra actions out of that.
Okay, then we have Jakuta skill, 2-cost upgrade, uses 3 judo counters, max 1 per player. When you defend against an attack, remove a judo counter from here. That enemy gets -2 for that attack.
So this one, what's cool with this one is you can actually wait until after the attack because it's an interrupt. So you can wait and see what the damage is before you add that one. Unlike most of the others, you have to add it before. Here we've got under control. It's a 0-cost upgrade. It's a tactic. You could attach it to a minion, but you can only attach 1 to a minion. But as after the hero defends against the attached minion's attack and takes no damage, deal 4 damage to the attached minion. So this one's really good if you've got bigger, beefier minions that swing pretty hard. If you're taking 0 defense, you can play this and you can turn around and take them out with it. So it's a pretty nice one. Works great against Ronin.
Wow.
It's
gonna be several hits.
Yeah.
All right. Then of course,
every little bit helps with that.
Part of the perfect defense staple cards, in my opinion, is Unflappable, 1-cost upgrade. It's a condition. Play under any player's control, max 1 per player. After you defend against an attack and take no damage, exhaust Unflappable to draw a card.
Gotta love card advantage.
Okay, I didn't pull them, but he has a lot of superpowers, so Def Focus would be a great card, and he's got a lot of events, so X Gene also would be another good card. I forgot to pull those cards. But okay, so we got Sync here. This is a great ally. 3-cost ally, 1 thwart, 1 attack, 3 hit points. Play only if your identity has an X-Men trait, but the important thing is the interrupt. When you use a basic power, exhaust Sync, you get +1 to that power for this use. And so that defense counts. So during the villain phase, you could exhaust Sync and get even another +1 defense.
Yep. So yeah, she's part of how we got up to 7 with she was key to that.
And then we got that. Go ahead.
Oh, the X-Jet here. So the X-Jet's a 3-cost support. It's an X-Men vehicle, but you can exhaust the X-Jet to generate a wild resource for a player whose identity has the X-Men trait. And why this one is so great is this is a way to bring the BAMF back repeatedly. So it is a permanent resource out there that a lot of times we dedicate it to that. I mean, but if you don't need to bring a BAMF back or whatever, you can use it for other things, and you can also allow other X-Men players at the table to use it as well. So it's become a really big key part of our games that have X-Men in it. And with him being an X-Men and needing a resource to bring back that BAMF, there you go.
Yeah, that's a really good way to get Banff back. I mean, there's also several other cards, but these are the ones that I thought were really good for him. I
But
mean, there's some leadership cards that, you add up your stats. So if you get your defense up, those cards are good. Um, if you're combining a bunch of ally stuff, like X-Men and X-Force, then you got like Children of the Atom and things like that. But those are good for lots of different X-Men.
yeah,
I was trying to think of things that were stand out as Nightcrawler specifically versus just all X-Men.
and the one thing that I have not, well, I haven't played him in the pool aspect either yet, but I haven't played him with a basic build yet, and I'm really looking forward to building him with the basic build and getting this down to like a, you know, 15 card deck or less, to where I'm just going through his deck and playing like these big, like the what is the drop one? What's that one called? Teleportation drop.
Teleport.
Yeah, the teleport drop. Playing things like that repeatedly, being able to use the BAMPs, discard them a lot, and bring them back repeatedly. So I'm really looking forward to that play, and I think that's probably what I'm playing with them next.
Okay.
So
All right. Well, with that, I think we'll end this video. Thank you for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe. Hey, everyone, if you like that, we got more videos, which is going to be a little weird. There's
okay.
one here, one underneath us, and you can subscribe down here. Thank you.